You ever been in a store and you had someone say to you, "Why are your children out of school today?" And you say, "Well, we homeschool." And what's the next question they always ask you?
Oh, usually. And what do you do about socialization?
Absolutely. Does that make you feel unqualified?
Well, it just makes me feel like my children are here in public and they're looking you in the eye. So it feels like it should be not a big deal.
Exactly.
But you do feel like maybe we are fulfilling the hermit lifestyle that everybody expects of us. And we've set our children up for failure somehow.
So what are some other ways that moms might feel unqualified? Like, I have a 3-year fashion design diploma. I'm not sure that would really qualify me to teach my children or facilitate their learning. What about maybe moms who don't finish high school, or moms who didn't finish post-secondary, or what about second language moms and ones that English is not their first language? I mean, do you think those kinds of things resonate with them and make them feel unqualified?
Yeah, absolutely. I spoke with a mom one time and she was saying that she had recently moved to Canada and she was concerned about homeschooling, and people had actually asked her, "Are you sure you're fit to homeschool because English isn't your first language?" And I thought, what a horrible thing to ask her. Turns out she's a nurse, and she was a nurse in her home country and became a nurse in Canada. Like, well, this woman has a fair amount of intelligence and is certainly more than qualified to teach her kids.
Right.
But I think it is a question that we ask ourselves sometimes, especially if we're out in public and that store clerk asks you. Somebody did ask me point blank one time, "Are you qualified to teach your kids?" And I thought, well, technically no, because I don't have a Bachelor of Education, I don't have a teacher certificate, but I came to realize I'm not qualified to teach in a classroom. Nobody would ever hire me at a public or private school, and they shouldn't. But I don't have the patience, but that's not my goal.
True.
My plan is not to be that kind of teacher, it's to be a homeschool teacher to my kids, and in which case I'm very qualified.
Right, and one thing we try to remind ourselves here at HSLDA, and we try to remind other moms all the time, is that you're the best teacher for your child because you know your child best, right? They're your children. And as you build a unique lifestyle around that homeschooling, moms are far more qualified to teach their own children than we realize, right? And they realize.
Absolutely.
Very important. What would you say another insecurity moms might have?
Well, I can tell you mine.
Do
Two
tell.
confessions, yeah.
Do tell.
I would say a great insecurity for me is that sideways comparison. I think I've long stopped worrying about what the schools are doing because that's not my idea to replicate that in my living room. But even going to a homeschool co-op was very hard for me because there's all these other moms who are doing it brilliantly and not the way I'm
different
doing
ways
it.
too.
So this one, very academic, very rigorous, lots of languages, lots of musical instruments, high achieving scholars.
Yeah.
And like, well, I'm not doing that, so maybe I'm failing. And I look at this side, and there's a family who's just having so much fun.
Oh, fun is good.
Fun is
very good.
Don't tell my kids that because they're not getting it.
Okay.
But they're doing projects and they have hands-on things and they're doing experiments and field trips and really living it up. And I think, well, I'm not doing that either. So maybe I'm falling short for my kids. And that's, I think, the comparison trap certainly can feed into insecurities in homeschool moms.
And sometimes it's not right now. Maybe down the line, a couple more years, you are going to be more rigorously academic, or maybe you take some time off and learn 2 or 3 more instruments, or whatever you do. Again, it's you're a unique family, building your own lifestyle. And I know I've done that too. Look sideways and see what's going on, or going to a homeschool conference and looking at all the stuff I could be doing, and I pick like 3 things and I take it home and I'm like, okay, I need to be excited about this. This is for us, and this is what we're going to do right now.
And I think that's the key right there. Say, this is for us. I love that.
Yeah.
Because once you have in mind what are my goals for my family,
That's right.
you know the culture of your family, the lifestyle you're pursuing, whether you're in the city or on a farm or, whatever, academic kids, sports kids, and you just can craft your homeschool curriculum and journey for you. You don't have to try to finish their story. You're just writing your own.
Exactly.
And that's the freedom to do it.
And so being a homeschool mom, you're a stay-at-home mom, maybe you do work part-time or you have your own business, which a lot of moms do. But would you say that moms feel like they're missing out on the big thing? I know I did sometimes. I'd be like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I could be doing this instead. And so we had a philosophy, I guess you could say, at our home where we just, as opportunities came our way, we took them. And whether that was volunteering or getting involved with an organization, or it was taking a trip or doing more at our church, whatever it was, volunteer at our homeschool group. We just always look for opportunities we serve. And I always tried to make sure that I had time away from my family, or do a little mini weekend trip or whatever it was, just coffee with a girlfriend. But I know for me, I've always felt like I was missing out on something. And the problem is there's so many things you can do in life, right?
Sure.
And you just can't do them all. So.
No, and there's seasons for all of those things. So I think it's
Exactly.
really wise for your family to carve out time like that in your homeschool journey to say, the books can wait. This opportunity for our family or for you individually is really important. And there's the socialization. There's all
Exactly.
that
Lots of
outside-
that.
yeah,
Lots of that.
extracurricular learning that you can't get from a textbook. So to have those opportunities as a family is great.
Yeah.
But I think it is still a message that women are getting, women are giving, that just being home
Absolutely.
is not enough. That you need to have the part-time job, or you need to have a fulfilling ministry, or you need to have volunteer hours, when really, if all you're doing, quote unquote, all you're doing is raising the next generation
Exactly.
of successful men and women, it's probably more than enough.
Yeah, you're building a foundation for you as a family, right? And they're going to grow into adulthood, and they're going to raise another generation, and that's important that you raise good citizens, right?
You're laying a foundation for the
Absolutely.
future. And if you waste that time chasing something else now, I think you'll regret it later. There's always times later. There's always years later when the kids move out or the school is done or you send them to school.
Go back and get another degree.
Totally. Finish your degree.
Maybe eventually, maybe after I'm 50, I might do that.
That's right. But yeah, I think
true.
to say this isn't the big thing is a lie. And it's really discouraging for moms.